Hi all, Mark O'Hare here from Sporting Bet, and this is We Love Betting. We're time to talk Football League now. So where should we start? We'll start with last week, shall we? Palace 2-0 up against Millwall, then Dean Moxey, named and shamed Dean Moxey, goes and does something absolutely ridiculous. Gets himself sent off, gives away a penalty. Millwall come back and draw 2-2. Thanks very much. First bet down. Bournemouth, well, they obliged as we said they would against Tranmere, and then last but not least, Morecambe. I think the girls of Morecambe probably came out to scare us off basically, because Morecambe scored in the last minute to beat Southend and sent our third bet down to Swanee. So let's see what we can do this week. Excuse me. Three more bets from the Football League, starting in the Championship, and it's one of the form teams at the moment, Cardiff City. Up there at the top of the table with Leicester City, of course. Pre-season, two of them were outlined as the Championship favourites, and it's hard to criticise them too much at the moment. Although they did take Watford going down to 9 men in the final 20 minutes in midweek for Cardiff to get a win, but they got the win, another 3 points, and that's 8 wins from their 12 Championship games now, and they're 6 from 6 at home as well. So they're absolutely flying at home. Beating good teams as well at home. Wolves, Huddersfield, Leeds and Blackpool have all gone there and been beaten. And you just have to look at the attacking options that Malky Mackay has there at Cardiff. The likes of Hyder Helguson, Craig Bellamy, Tommy Smith, many more, to appreciate why they're playing so well. And actually midweek, that was the 8th time in their last 9 league games they've scored at least 2 goals in a match. And that's got to worry a very ropey Burnley backline. But defence has been their problem all this season. But full credit to them, they won an astonishing game in midweek at Bristol City, 4-3. They were 3-1 up. Bristol City pulled it back to 3-3 in stoppage time, but Chris McCann still found time to win it for Burnley away from home with the last kick of the game. They're back down the M5 under caretaker Terry Prashley. Great character shown for him, and he'll be very enthused by that. But whether they can produce that again away at Cardiff, I'm not so sure. And you just have to take a look at the few stats that coming out of Burnley and their defensive line at the moment, because it really is atrocious. I'm just bringing them up here now. They've conceded a whopping 17 goals away from. They've conceded a whopping 17 goals, shipping 2 or more in all but 3 of their 14 games this season, and that's pretty atrocious to me. So I was quite. Well, I wasn't staggered, amazed, just quite pleased, I think, to see Cardiff priced up at 3-4 with Sporting Bet to get the 3 points, and that's going to be my first pick of the week in the Championship. Cardiff at 3-4 with Sporting Bet. Moving down to League One, and wow, it's the glamour tie. It's the glamour game on the coupon this weekend. Forget the likes of Wolves, Charlton, Leeds, Birmingham, Middlesbrough, Bolton. In the Championship, it's down to League One. It's got to be Bury against Walsall. Sorry to those two clubs, but there's a bet here, and a bet I really like too, because Bury finally ended their wait for a league win or a win this season in midweek when they beat Hartlepool. A result which ended in Neil Cooper's position being ended. His second spell at Hartlepool was over because of it. And Kevin Blackwell's done what I think is a great job in lifting the gloom around Bury since Richie Barker left for Crawley. They weren't really going in any direction. They're being beaten a little bit too easily for my liking. But he's come in and he's boosted the club and given them a little more lift and drive. They rode the luck with a late penalty miss against Hartlepool in midweek. But going back to Blackwell, he's brought in the 2 Leeds youngsters, Don Pollion and Zach Thompson, to boost that squad. And at 29-20 with Sporting Bet, they look a cracking shout to me to beat a Walsall team that have lost 4 of their last 5. And in the other game, they squandered a 2-goal lead against Crewe. Yes, Walsall have had an excellent start to the season. Proved me wrong, especially as I put them down as a relegation certainty almost at the start of the season. So they've proved the doubters wrong so far, but we are only 14 games into the season. They've got a great team ethic under Dean Smith. They've got a few real shining lights for League One level as well, but the squad is very small, and that could be starting to catch up with them too. They lost 1-0 at Sheffield United in midweek. On the face of it, it looks a very credible result, especially when they played 80 minutes with 10 men after experienced stalwart Dean Holden was sent off. He's now set to miss the game. Gig Lane, he's suspended, and I just think a Bury team that finally ended that wait for a win looked a little bit too big at 29-20 to beat Walsall in League One. They were very unlucky to come away with nothing, or not. Basically, didn't get the just results against Crawley, Yeovil, and Carlisle in their previous 3 games. So Bury it is at 29-20, and moving down to League Two. And well, it's about time someone spoke up about Barnet, isn't it? Only joking. Edgar Davids, he's been in the papers, the news, the media, everywhere, and quite rightly too. I mean, who would have thought Edgar Davids going to Barnet was going to come around this season? But even so, the revolution started. He watched them lose 4-1 at home to Plymouth, dusted off his boots, been in training, and they go and beat Northampton 4-0 at home, and then go and get a very credible 0-0 draw at Wycombe Wanderers, who of course under Gareth Ainsworth now, and looking a much better outfit. They're still 4 points adrift of second bottom Bolton, Aldershot, but there are very positive signs and noises coming out of the club, including joint boss Mark Robson, who believes that Davids' signing or introduction to the squad has been a key influence on his stuttering side, which is always encouraging to hear someone like that say, because I thought Robson could have felt a little bit pushed out and may even be leaving the club, but things have sounded good. They're going to managerless Chesterfield on Saturday. I'm absolutely astounded by the price offered on Barnet to win, which is 21-5 for Sportingbet, or you can get them at 23-20 just to avoid defeat. So win or draw at Chesterfield, it's 23-20 at Sportingbet. As well as the aforementioned results from Davids since he's come into the team. Before then, Barnet actually held Southend away, and they were edged out by the odd goal at Fleetwood in the previous away trips, and sandwiched in between that was a goalless draw with Rotherham. 3 very excellent results for a team who are bottom of the league and supposedly no hopers. So the team is clearly capable of holding its own, and anything for me over 4-1 on a side, home or away in the Football League, has to be seriously considered. Let's look at Chesterfield then. They've lost their last 2 home games. Tommy Wright is still a caretaker at Chesterfield. It's really probably his last chance to prove himself. They've won just 2 of their 7 home league games this season, so at 23-20 on Barnet and the double chance, I'm having something like that. I'm going to go pretty big on that actually. So let's go through the 3 picks. It's Barnet 23-20 of Sportingbet to avoid defeat at Chesterfield. That's a double chance. Bury to beat Walsall at 29-20, and in the Championship it's Cardiff at 3-4 to beat Burnley. So fingers crossed we get the treble this week.